Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about cellular respiration. What is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is the process by which living organisms break down glucose, a simpler sugar, in the presence of oxygen to produce energy in the form of ATP. This energy is essential for all cellular functions, including growth, repair, movement, and maintaining homeostasis. Three stages of cellular respiration. We have glycolysis, which is the breaking down of glucose into two pyruvate molecules. We have citric acid cycle, which completes the breakdown of glucose, and oxidative phosphorylation, which is accounts for most of the ATP synthesis. We have glycolysis. Glycolysis is the initial breakdown of glucose, a 6-carbon sugar, into two molecules of pyruvate, a 3-carbon compound. This process occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. Its key features is it does not require oxygen, it generates a small amount of ATP, which is two molecules, and NADH, a high-energy electron carrier. It involves a series of enzymatic reactions that rearrange and break down glucose. Next is the citric acid cycle. Its function is the citric acid cycle, also known as the Krebs cycle, takes place in the mitochondria matrix. It further breaks down pyruvate, which is first converted into acetyl, generating more energy carriers, which is NADH and FADH2, and a small amount of ATP. Its key features is it requires oxygen, which is aerobic. It is a cyclic pathway that regenerates oxaloacetate, a key starting molecule. It also releases carbon dioxide as a waste production. Example of citric acid cycle. The citric acid cycle consists of 8 chemical reactions happening in eukaryotic cell mitochondria and prokaryotic cell cytoplasm. This process has a key part to play in breaking down carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, which leads to energy production in the form of ATP. The citric acid cycle, also known as the Krebs cycle, begins with the combination of acetyl, a 2-carbon molecule, and oxaloacetate, a 4-carbon molecule, resulting in the formation of citrate, which is a 6-carbon molecule. Next, the citrate undergoes a transformation known as isomerization, converting it into isocitrate. In the following step, isocitrate is both oxidized and decarb and decarboxylated, leading to the production of ketoglutarate, while releasing a molecule of carbon dioxide. This process also produces NADH, an important energy carrier. In continuing the cycle, a ketoglutarate is further oxidized and decarboxylated to yield succinyl, again releasing carbon dioxide and generating another molecule of NADH. The next transformation involves the conversion of succinyl into succinate, during which GTP is produced. GTP can be readily converted into ATP, providing energy for cellular process. Next, we have the oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation is the final stage of cellular respiration and occurs in the inner mitochondrial membrane. It uses the energy carriers NADH and FADH2 produced in the previous stage to generate a large amount of ATP through a process called chemiosmosis. It requires oxygen, aerobic. It involves an electron transport chain where electrons are passed from molecule to molecule, releasing energy. This energy is used to pump protons across the inner mitochondrial membrane, creating a proton gradient. The proton gradient drives the synthesis of ATP by ATP synthase. We have here the illustration of cellular respiration. The image depicts the process of cellular respiration, a fundamental metabolic pathway that occurs in all living organisms. It breaks down glucose to generate energy in the form of ATP. The picture shows the forming parts of how cells make energy. We have glycolysis. The first part happens in the cell's fluid. It breaks down sugar into two private molecules, making a net gain of 2 ATP. Next, we have the citric acid cycle or the Krebs cycle. People also call this the citric acid cycle. It takes place in the powerhouse of the cell and makes 6 NADH, 2 FADH2, and 2 ATP. Next, we have the oxidative phosphorylation. The last part occurs in the inner membrane of the cell's powerhouse. It uses the electron carriers NADH and FADH2 to create a carbon-proton gradient which powers ATP production. Cells make energy through a complex process with many steps and molecules. This process gives energy to all living things. This picture shows the key parts and molecules involved in this crucial energy-making pathway. Cellular respiration. We have aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. This process relies on oxygen to generate energy from glucose, and it takes place in the mitochondria of the cell. Aerobic respiration stands out as the most effective method for cells to generate energy, producing a substantial amount of ATP, which serves as the main energy currency for cellular functions. Next, we have anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration is commonly utilized by organisms that thrive in low oxygen environments, such as certain bacteria found in the intestine or muscle cells during periods of intense physical activity. The most prevalent form of anaerobic respiration is fermentation, which can be categorized into two types. We have lactic fermentation and alcoholic fermentation. In these two types of cellular respiration, aerobic respiration relies on oxygen, while anaerobic respiration does not rely on oxygen, but in low oxygen environments. Next, we have the fermentation. Fermentation is a metabolic process that occurs in the absence of oxygen. It's a type of anaerobic respiration where organisms convert sugars into energy, producing byproducts like lactic or ethanol. We have here the two types of fermentation. We have alcohol fermentation, which is a biological process that transforms sugars like glucose, fructose, and sucrose into energy for cells. During this process, ethanol and carbon dioxide are produced as byproducts. The next type of fermentation is the lactic acid fermentation. This occurs when our muscle cells process pyruvate during anaerobic respiration. This is particularly important during intense exercise when oxygen levels are low. Importance of cellular respiration. In summary, cellular respiration is the fundamental process that enables life. It provides the energy needed for all cellular functions, utilizes nutrients, removes waste products, and supports biological processes essential for growth and development. Understanding cellular respiration helps us understand how our bodies function and how we obtain energy from all the food we eat. It also sheds light on various diseases and conditions related to energy metabolism. That's all, and thank you for listening.